All right, what's going on? 10K cards doing an alt auction recap. First of its kind. Gonna cap off some of the sales that happened last Thursday. It is Monday, June 2nd now, so these have been finalized for a couple days now. And we're just gonna run through some notables, some of the top sales, and some things we find interesting. So we had three big sales complete on the platform on Thursday. Some of them are still pending payment, but they do have 7 days to pay, so we can assume they're going to get paid for now, but they, could always fall off. Starting with LeBron Exquisite Rookie Year, obviously patch auto, number due 99. One of his biggest cards sold. This was the top selling card in the auction that week. You can see we surpassed some of the bigger sales from late last year or even into 2023. So pretty strong stuff for LeBron per usual going into his 21st year next year. Coming up next, we have another LeBron. This came in at the second highest sale. It's going to be his gold refractor, just a staple piece of his rookie set. Topps chrome look. Super clean design. This is, of course, numbered to 50, and this is a BGS 95, being a pop 25. And that didn't come in as too strong of a sale. It sold 2 months back at Golden, and that was literally the same price, $500 cheaper if we want to be specific. So kind of stagnant on this one, but still up from these sales in 2024, but obviously down from the peak of things back in 2022. But yeah, that's another big LeBron sale. This one is also pending, so no payment on that yet. And the third biggest would be Caitlyn Clark, her biggest card.
Yeah,
Debatable, right?
I would definitely say this is going to be her biggest card. I'm super curious to see who also, if they come out public as the owner of this card, or if someone just picked up a private grail card that they'll never sell. I don't think there's going to be any sort of NT product for the WNBA, so definitely Caitlin Clark's biggest card. I'd also argue that she's a top 10 basketball player in the world, not even, not only the WNBA, but across the NBA as well. So super interesting sale, obviously massive for women's sports, but, just basketball cards in general.
Yep, that one's also
175K.
pending, but yeah, I mean, one of the biggest, well, not one of the biggest player in the WNBA, and she's obviously growing the sport massively. You can see kind of an uptick since the fever season has started this year, so we can kind of see stuff taking off there. So great timing on this sale. But yeah, 175,000 also pending on that one, but she did just have her other one of one. I think the auto sell around the same price. 2 weeks prior to this as well, and I think it was like 180 or 200, so right in the same ballpark as that.
Yeah, and then taking a look at Josh Allen, so another kind of guy in the NFL that's, on the brink of greatness, if you will. Just picked up his first MVP this last season, but hasn't been to that Super Bowl. Ultimately, he's never won a Super Bowl. If he does do that for the city of Buffalo, he would definitely be not only an NFL legend, but a massive fan favorite in that city. They have done nothing across all their sports. So, nonetheless, another just massive card, one of one, NFL shield, NFL logo on the football there. Cool inscription with the Bills Mafia. I mean, just a classic. Very strong sale compared to, how this card has transacted over the past. Being a one of one, it's kind of interesting that it's sold a few times, but super strong sale here nonetheless.
Yeah, yeah, definitely all-time high, beating the even the peak COVID prices by another 12,000 there. So cool to
Yeah.
see that for Josh. Heading into some NBA cards, we have Anthony Edwards coming off another Western Conference final run this year, falling short in five once again, like he did last year. This year to the ever dominant OKC Thunder. So tough battle for him and the Wolves, but still a strong sale. This transacted, I believe, a couple days after they were eliminated. So the buyer definitely knew what he was getting. It wasn't like, is he going to make the finals? Is he not going to make the finals? So he was definitely out at this point. But yeah, all-time high for the PSA 8 of his NT True, super clean card. Pop 11 as an 8, and there's only there's a handful that are higher, but super strong sale for Anthony Edwards. I think he has a bright future. A little biased with the Minnesota Crew here, but Fun to see him play. Then following
Yeah,
up,
for sure.
yeah, Halliburton.
Halliburton. Obviously, Halliburton is in the NBA Finals, so a lot of hype around all of his cards. If you don't mind scrolling down a little bit, I'd love to see what his trend is. 21% is just
Wow.
insane over the last 3 months. Nonetheless, obviously, Finals run. I think he's kind of in that, kind of cemented himself in that ballpark with Anthony Edwards in the 2020 class of, being the alphas in the class. He's nonetheless now in the finals. We'll see if he can get over that hump. OKC is quite the task. But I mean, yeah, strong sale, one of one. It doubled its last sale a year ago. So great purchase from the original buyer, and he doubled up just about with less than a year hold time.
Yeah, this is one of the cool things with the alt platform here. We can kind of see, hey, has this exact card sold before? And it's really cool to see with the one of ones and the low numbered stuff, how many times it gets passed around. So, yep, strong sale there. And I think we have another one as well. Yeah, second year, Tyrese Halliburton, his select snakeskin one of one. So this one also another situation. Auction end of 2024, $800. This guy picked it up and said, making his trip to the finals. Let's throw it up for auction. Made a couple $100 there. So a good flip there for him, and another strong sale for a second year card, to be honest, as a PSA
Yeah.
9.
And I'd say that's when you really start to see these players and how their markets are transacting is when these second, third, fourth year cards are really driving value. Obviously, there's a lot of demand.
Yeah, yep, that's that 101 tax, and yeah, I mean people are hunting this stuff, and I'm sure he's gaining more fans through this run too with the knockout series with the Knicks.
For sure.
And then we have this cool one I pulled aside. This just kind of highlights the popularity of the Kaboom and the numbered Kabooms. We have a 2018 Anthony Davis gold Kaboom that is transacted at $8,800, and it's already paid for and everything. So, this has sold a few times. It's a pop four, so you'd think there'd only be a couple sales, but we have, quite a few dating back all the way to 2019 where it sold for, $500. And today at an all-time high, I mean, beating COVID numbers and everything, $8,800. That's super, super strong, double the highest ever. So, people love the gold, people love kabooms, they'll pay up for them, and it's evident here with 2018 gold kaboom for Anthony Davis. It's kind of a random year, kind of a random, guy, I'd say, just part of that big trade to the Mavs, but didn't do much with them yet, but still has a chance
Yeah.
there. So a cool sale to see here.
Yeah, I'd argue that the buyer probably is prospecting that the Mavs will take a big leap next year with Cooper Flag, and obviously getting Kyrie back healthy is going to help quite a bit. So, yeah, curious
Yep,
to see what that Mavs
that's a
team
big
does
yeah.
next season.
What if team next year? We'll see if
Absolutely.
Cooper Flag can translate. Looked like he was locking up some of those those all stars pre-Olympics. So we will see. Oh man, I'll let you talk about SGA.
Yeah, I mean, SGA has obviously just been on a tear this last season, MVP of the league, clear favorite in the finals. I mean, they should win this series in 4 games per Vegas. So you would like to think this is a strong buy just in terms of locking up that legacy, if you will, of having a finals ring and an MVP kind of holds your price forever in the basketball realm. So, I mean, solid buy, strong buy, and obviously, the market has came up quite
Yeah,
a bit
this
on him this last year.
kind of interesting here too. So we're doing this, 3-4 days after the auction closed. You can see it transacted again at Golden. Granted, we have the PSA 10 with an auto 10, so no auto grade on the one that sold on alt, but even another $2,000 premium with the Golden Premier ending on Sunday night. So pretty strong trend here from SGA. We can see up 23%. He's kind of a controversial figure in the league, but he's good at basketball. He puts points up. He carries teams through series. He is a true MVP. Yeah. So some people might not like watching him, and it's tough, to play against him. But definitely a dominant player. So I think we had another SGA sale. Oh, maybe not. Looks like we're gonna jump into some hockey, some of our favorite stuff here. So I think this is more of just a cool card we wanted to highlight, right? There's nothing, too significant about the sale price. There's nothing too significant about the set or anything. But Connor McDavid on the the brink of a Stanley Cup, his first, making another run, running it back against the Florida Panthers. So we'll see if he can get it done. He almost had, that not reverse sweep, but they were down what 3-1 and brought it to Game 7. So see if he can get it done this year. He did touch the Eastern was the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference
Yeah, yeah.
trophy, whatever it's called. So he didn't touch it last year, lost in 7. He touched it this year, and we'll see if that has any effect on it. But yeah, strong sale price, $4,000. Just a cool card, and described it with the 2017 Hart Trophy. So numbered to 49 there as well. So
Yep.
super super sweet card.
Yep. If you don't mind jumping over to the 9 sale, the 9 sold a few months back for
Oh yeah.
significantly less. So a PSA 8 selling for 3 times, 4 times the price of that 9. Really just shows the hype around this
Yep.
back-to-back Stanley Cup run. Hopefully he can
Yep. I
get
mean,
the ring,
yeah,
get that trophy back to
true
Canada.
MVP caliber guy. I mean, he just needs to cement himself with a Stanley Cup or two before the end of his career, and he'll go down as one of the best. So looking forward to that series. Oh boy. Jason Dominguez. These are, the next four we have coming up are kind of some low sales, some lulls, we'll call them. Starting off with baseball, Jason Dominguez. I mean, 3 years ago, this guy had all the hype in the world. One of those big prospects. They were calling him the Martian coming in for the Yankees, right? Just could hit the baseball strong, home run guy, slugger. But since coming to the league, he hasn't really done it, right? He's just another guy out there now. So we have low sales to reflect that. So this is his true gold to 50 Bowman Chrome Auto, and we can see here 2,700. But if we scrolled back a bit, we can see over 13,000 back in 2022 when that hype was high, and it's just not there anymore. He's just not performing, and he's dropping off, as you can see here, down 7.6%, and I'm guessing the little uptick is the start of the baseball season. But yeah, it's not helping.
Yeah, I mean his stats are good enough to keep him in the league. He's batting 247, 6 home runs, and 25 RBIs. But to your point, that is by no means the Martian, right? Like that's not out of
Yeah.
this world, like they were projecting him to be.
Yep. Not coming up to the expectations. So definitely, not. If you believe in his future, maybe it's a good time to buy. But other than that, it's down for him. Coming up on another guy that's downtrend, John Morant.
Yeah, if you don't mind scrolling down his last 90 days, it's been just brutal for him.
Oh wow.
Consistent downtrend, at a at a consistent pace as well. So, I mean, not only the off the court issues, if you will, but also when you just kind of think about where he peaked within his career, it seems like the first, second, third year of his career were his best statistical numbers, and since then he's been good, but I wouldn't put him in that great category. So I think it's these at this point it's kind of a solid buy. I feel like cards like this aren't going to go much lower than
Yep.
$400 or $500 for the rarity, but you
I mean,
really you're going to need him to do something here
yeah.
soon.
I mean, yeah. Pop 10. Numbered 25. This is a big card. If you're talking SGA, you're talking Anthony Edwards. So, 1 year prior, you had John Morant come in and he was, explosive in college at Murray State and explosive the first couple years in his league, and he, just hasn't done anything, and he's dealing with some of those, off-court issues, with the violence and stuff like that. So, he's losing his face in the league. Guys like Anthony Edwards and SGA and Halliburton are taking over as, your guys in the league now, your new guys. So John Morant's getting left in the dust, and his prices definitely reflect that. And I think we
Yeah,
had
and if you don't mind
another.
jumping up, if you
Yeah,
don't
go ahead.
mind actually looking at that 2020 sale, there's a 2020 sale if you view it all. I mean, you can see the
Oh,
fall
geez,
off
yeah.
of $5,000 someone paid for this card, and it's down transacting at 500. So
Yeah.
pretty crazy fall off, and it's funny to think too. When back in 2019, this was like the crazy class. You have the Zions, the John Morants, and everyone was saying 2020 is going to be terrible, and now you're looking at Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton. It really is impossible, it seems, to prospect these
Yeah.
guys. It's crazy to see how the market plays out.
Yeah, it's a good point with the 2019 class. That was when everybody got in the hobby. That's when COVID started. That's when everybody was buying in. So these were the first guys with a lot of hype, John Morant and Zion. And it just kind of stinks to see those two guys not really living up to the expectations yet. Um, and yeah, it's definitely reflecting in the prices. So I think we had one more Ja. Yeah, here's a bigger card that can kind of reflect that situation a little bit more. It's his true NT to 99 BGS 85. We've had a couple sales, so we pulled this one up. Transacted at 13,000 last week, and yeah, you can see even a year ago it was doing 22,000. Had some strong sales that summer. And then during the year, we even had a $17,000 sale. So to drop off even another 5,000 from that sales, hard to see. And yeah, scrolling back, it just gets even more painful for anybody that was holding this card. $70,000, $60,000, $54,000 back in 2022. So these guys are taking tremendous losses on, you know, prospecting essentially, like Rhett was saying. It's a guy that hasn't done anything. You're not buying safety. You're buying a what if. You're thinking, wow, this guy's dominant. He's going to be the face of the league. He's going to take his team to the finals, win some rings. But you fall short. This is what happens.
Yeah. And when you think of guys like SGA, that's where getting that MVP and winning that ring ultimately starts to cement your prices. You're not going to see these $50,000 fall offs by any means on these big cards.
Yeah, 100%. So, yep, John Morant could be a guy to watch if you really do believe in him. Prices are low. Basketball season ending soon, so pick him up if you believe. But other than that, it's a downtrend. All right, we have some golf. I'll talk golf for a second here. We have Tiger Woods, obviously the greatest golfer of this generation. This is one of his bigger cards, so a $28,000 sale for this is out of 100. You can kind of relate this to like a Future Watch patch auto in hockey, the number to 100 stuff. This is Tiger's card of similarity. So pop 49. So quite a few cards have gotten this same grade here. But you can see, it's fallen off with him not playing as much, with the Netflix stuff not being new anymore. I think his kid's even playing in some junior golf championships now. I think he actually just took down his first win last week, but it's not helping Tiger's cards cases. These are hard to come by, but a kind of fall off in sale prices for him. So wanted to highlight that one as well. And then some, we'll switch the beat up here. We'll kind of go to some upbeat, some big sales, some stuff that, really popped off the last, couple months or weeks. Starting off with Caitlyn Clark again. I'll let Rhett take it away.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Caitlyn Clark a little bit earlier. If you don't mind, just jumping over to the next one too. We have this same card of Luka Doncic. You
Oh
can
yeah,
see how they transacted here. Caitlyn Clark again, a newer product. So kind of take that as you will, but just speaks to the volume and the aura that Caitlyn Clark has. Within the basketball market. So thought this was interesting that Caitlyn Clark's base Prism 10 is selling for more than Luka Doncic, but nonetheless, and you can see, like Nick
yeah,
was saying earlier, there's been some sales even higher since. So
yeah. It's pretty crazy. I mean, she's even hurt right now, so just to see her card still transacting at a high pace, people know. This is one of the best players. This might be, the LeBron of the WNBA, if I can say that. But yeah, super strong sales. Even I thought this 2200 was pretty good sale price, even given some of the early sales of this product. The quick flippers. If I can say that as well, coming in with some fast sales. But yeah, $3,500 and double what a Luka's doing is kind of insane, because you'd have to imagine the Caitlin Clark pop is going to be a lot higher with how much they're printing the products these days.
absolutely.
All right. We're going to cap off with a couple. We have four notable sales, and then we'll have one tiny segment at the end for some good buying opportunities that we found. So yeah, I'll let Rhett talk about Crosby here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Sidney Crosby has the pedigree, he has the MVPs, he has the championships. This really just comes down to rarity. So the Prism set, very unique, very niche. Not very many people were probably ripping this and grading them right away, expecting to hold on to them for 10, 15 years. But nonetheless, that's where you get cards like this. Pop 6 doesn't transact all too often, hasn't sold in 2 years. Just a cool sale. I don't think there's anything too
Yeah,
notable about this one. I would imagine most likely some sort of collector.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
The,
great,
the
great
cool
sale
thing
for
with these
Crosby.
though too is, for the people that don't know, Prism, this was the last year of Prism hockey, right?
This is true. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, this is kind of a monumental set when it comes to hockey. When you see this design for Prism hockey, you kind of think, you know, that was the last year of Prism hockey. This is a cool card. We haven't seen a Prism hockey card in 13 years now. So, to find a card like this of a player like this, I honestly think they're undervalued, and I think people might be catching on to some of that with where it's selling at now. But yeah, super sweet card. That red really makes it pop. Oh boy, another finals guy, another OKC guy. So we have Jalen Williams. This is the new product, right? This is Deca, right? Yeah, this is the new Prism Deca stuff. So we had a gold Jalen Williams. Just a cool card, pop one. People obviously pay up for the golds, but you have a guy that's going to a finals here, really makes an impact on that team. You have the big three with him, Chet, and SGA kind of doing all the heavy lifting there. So cool to see that. Kind of cheap, but it's an off rookie year. Kind of a shadowed guy, if you will, on the OKC Thunder as well. Oh, the Duncan Go. What is it called? The Duncan Go Nuts? Yeah, the Duncan card. Maybe you know
Yeah.
a
I
little
mean,
bit more about this than me.
just a rare set. You think of like the Kabooms, the Downtowns. It's the same category, same ballpark, just way before its time. So, insane set when you think about 90s basketball. I personally don't know too much about this set, or who's involved
Yeah.
in it, but
Yep.
cool to see, and in a great logo design, etc.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think these
early
were,
on.
if I remember, I think they were like I don't know if it was a promo pack or like a partnership with Duncan. I'm sure somebody could let us know if they do know that. But yeah, it's super cool design, and for it to be transacting at $1,000 for a guy like Vince Carter, who's not really the biggest guy of that era. For a PSA 9, that's pretty strong. Yeah, it looks like an all-time high sale for the PSA 9 actually. So at least recently. So really cool to see that as well. All right, what do we got next? Wayne, one of the greatest hockey players of all time. This one is just, you don't see it come by, right? You have to kind of highlight this one, and you know, hockey in general isn't, doesn't have the strongest sales, but when you see a card like this, it's one of the, one of, if not the best hockey player of all time. Numbered to 5, you got the patch in there, you got the auto. Tough grade on these. I'm sure it's a thick card from a 2011 Cup, but the only one graded out of the 5, so it might even be game used.
Just
Yeah, so
Yep.
that's another piece that like literal piece of history, something that might should belong in a museum, and you're able to own a piece of that for $7,500, right?
Yeah,
Seems
I
cheap.
would say that's like the best part about hockey cards. I would say 90 to 95% of the products are always game worn memorabilia. So, you think about how Panini rocks with their not any event or game
Yeah,
used
right.
material. They bought it from Dick's and threw it into a card.
Yep.
Hockey cards don't really roll like that. It's cool to see that these were actually used in an event. I'm sure you could go back and find the All-Star game that he played in. And see what he did that event. That's just awesome.
Yeah, yeah, they even say right here, yeah, 1998 All-Star team. So I would assume
Yep.
the jerseys from the game, so you could go see anything notable happen that day or at that game. So super sweet card. And then yeah, Rhett will have a buying opportunity here for you guys. So we have two cards to cover relating to that.
Yeah. You know, if you don't mind just popping open the all-time sales, I think this one's interesting. So CJ Stroud didn't have the strongest year last year. Obviously, came off a historic rookie season. I don't think they did the most to surround him with weapons. They obviously traded their left tackle to Washington. Diggs walked in free agency, taking Del Toro's ACL. So a lot of things occurred here, but I don't think CJ Stroud's skill set just disappeared, right? He took a
Yeah.
step back last year for sure. But with that said, I think he could easily bounce back. You look at some of these all-time high sales on this card, it's transacting at a fourth of what it looks like it at one point. So I definitely think there's some upside on this card. Even if you were to purchase this card for $700 like the Spire did and sold it before the season, I think you're getting more than 700 back just for that
Yeah.
hype and run up. And there's always some sort of storyline that will
Yep.
come out of the preseason. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
CJ Stroud's a good guy to look out for.
yeah, we have all-time lows. So that could be the effect of, the hobby is more interested in the new guys, right? The JJ
That's true.
McCarthy's, the Bo Nicks, the Caleb Williams, like, the class after him or the class after that. Like, guys like this get shadowed when they have, he played great. He was a great quarterback. His card market was strong when he was the freshest, the newest cards out there. So, to kind of neglect the fact that he's playing well and let the prices reflect that, it doesn't seem right. That could be a market correction and we're settling on the final prices that, he should be worth, but definitely a good buying opportunity with the way that team is shaping up. So I think, yeah, we had a hyper as well, just kind of highlighting the same thing, showing, way down from, coming in from some of these highs close to $1,000. Now we're in, in the sixes. So, numbered prism, a sought after set really should be, his pinnacle product. If you're talking like, staple product outside of like NT and stuff like that, we have prism. So, yeah, super, super good buying opportunity here. But yeah, I think that recaps all the notable stuff that we found interesting, some of the big sales, and what's going on currently in the alt auctions. So, yeah, anything else from you, Rhett?
No, yeah, no, I think that was a great overview.
Perfect. All right, we'll be back next Thursday to talk the auctions ending there because alt does have auctions ending every Thursday now. So, we'll have plenty to talk about next week, I'm sure. So, we will talk to you guys all then.